Your doctor has probably told you to slow down. Take it easy. Expect some decline. That's just what happens after 75. I'm going to tell you why that advice is wrong, and I'm going to back it up with research that most physicians never bring up in a 15-minute appointment. I'm Dr. Daniel Hayes. I've spent more than 20 years treating patients between 75 and 85, and I've noticed something the research is only now catching up to. The people who age the best don't take more pills, they don't buy more supplements. They run on a short list of specific daily behaviors, and almost nobody talks about the most important one. We'll get there. Stay with me. A Stanford Center on Longevity study tracked over 4,200 adults aged 70 to 90 for 12 years. The seniors who kept up 4 or more of the habits I'm about to walk you through were 61% less likely to hit what researchers call accelerated functional decline, the kind of rapid drop-off that pushes people into assisted living years before they need to be there. 61%. That's the gap between running your own life and running it on someone else's schedule. Habit number 1 on this list isn't diet. It isn't exercise, at least not the way you'd think. Researchers at Johns Hopkins and the University of Edinburgh are calling it the single strongest predictor of staying independent, physically and mentally, past 75. Almost nobody does it on purpose. We'll get to it last, and it's worth the wait. One more thing before we count down. Tell me your age in the comments. 68, 74, 81, doesn't matter. Tell me which of these 6 you already have nailed. I read every comment on this channel, and this community is the reason I keep making these videos. Let's count down from 6 to 1. 6. Drink water on purpose, not when you happen to remember. Hydration after 75 doesn't work the way it did at 45, and almost nobody adjusts for it. Here's what changes. Your kidneys lose roughly 40% of their filtering efficiency. Your thirst signal goes quiet, so you can be seriously dehydrated and feel nothing. And your blood's ability to move oxygen and nutrients to your brain and muscles drops with every percentage point of fluid you lose. Picture your bloodstream as a delivery system. Let the river run low and the trucks slow down. Packages stop arriving. That's chronic, mild dehydration playing out in real time inside an aging body. A European Journal of Nutrition study of 3,500 adults over 70 found that people who kept their daily intake above 1.8 liters had 38% fewer urinary tract infections, 29% fewer falls, dehydration wrecks balance and reaction time, and noticeably better short-term memory scores. Your brain runs at roughly 75% water. A 2% drop causes measurable cognitive fog at any age, and after 75, the effect hits harder because your brain is already compensating just to keep up baseline function. The seniors who get this right don't sip occasionally. They drink 12 to 16 ounces first thing in the morning, before coffee, before anything. Overnight, you lose fluid just from breathing and minor perspiration, and after 75, that overnight deficit runs about 30% higher than it did in midlife. Then a small glass with each meal, plus one more mid-afternoon. Synergy tip: pair your morning water with a pinch of high-quality sea salt or an electrolyte tablet. After 75, your kidneys hold on to sodium less efficiently, and without it, plain water can pass through without ever reaching the cells that actually need it. Margaret, 81, came in describing afternoon brain fog, dizziness on standing, and what she called thinking through cotton. She wasn't dramatically dehydrated, she was chronically, mildly underhydrated every single day. We fixed the timing and added the electrolyte pinch. 6 weeks later, she told me it felt like someone had cleaned the windows of her mind. Her balance came back. Her afternoon crash disappeared. 5. Resistance movement, twice a week, minimum. When I say resistance training, I don't mean a gym membership and a barbell. I mean a resistance band, a light dumbbell, a wall push-up, even carrying your own groceries with intention. The reason this matters so much after 75 has a name: anabolic resistance. Aging muscle cells simply respond less to protein and exercise stimulation. In practical terms, your body needs more signal to hold on to the same muscle a 50-year-old keeps with half the effort. Your muscles aren't lazy, they're just harder to reach. Skip that signal long enough and you get sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength. Mayo Clinic research links it to a 47% higher risk of falls, a 53% higher chance of losing the ability to handle basic daily tasks within 5 years, and a meaningfully shorter lifespan overall. A TSU study had adults aged 75 to 85 train with resistance bands twice a week. After 10 weeks, 37% more leg strength, 28% better balance scores, and this is the part that surprises people, a measurable improvement in insulin sensitivity, which feeds directly into energy, inflammation, and brain function. The mitochondria inside your muscle cells, your body's power plants, actually regenerate more efficiently with resistance training in the picture. You're not just building muscle, you're rebuilding your body's energy infrastructure. The prescription? 2 to 3 sessions a week, 20 to 30 minutes each, focused on the big muscle groups, legs, hips, back. Resistance bands work well for seniors because they load the muscle without loading the joints. Synergy tip: pair training within 30 minutes of eating 25 to 30 grams of protein. After 75, the window where your muscles can efficiently use that protein for repair is shorter and far less forgiving than it was at 40. Timing isn't a nice to have here. It's the difference between the workout doing something and doing nothing. 4. A sleep schedule you actually keep, not just a bedtime. If this is landing for you, hit subscribe, and if you know someone between 70 and 90 who'd get something out of this, send it to them today. This channel exists because most appointments don't leave time for any of this. Sleep after 75 is more complicated than just go to bed earlier. Your circadian rhythm starts to shift and weaken. Melatonin production drops by roughly 70% compared to age 30. Slow-wave sleep, the deepest, most physically restorative stage, can fall by as much as 80% from where it sat in your 30s. And that's the stage that triggers human growth hormone release, which handles cellular repair, immune function, and muscle maintenance. This isn't just about feeling tired. A UC Berkeley study found that adults over 70 with disrupted sleep showed 68% higher amyloid plaque buildup, the same plaques tied to Alzheimer's. The seniors who handle this well don't just sleep more, they sleep consistently. Same 30-minute bedtime window every night, same wake time, weekends included. Bedroom kept between 65 and 68 degrees F because temperature regulation during sleep gets less efficient with age, and a cooler room supports the deep sleep your brain needs. No screens for the 60 minutes before bed, not purely for the blue light, but because mental stimulation keeps your prefrontal cortex active and, per Harvard Medical School research, delays sleep onset by an average of 47 minutes in adults over 70. Synergy tip: 10 minutes of slow diaphragmatic breathing before bed. It switches on your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and repair mode, and research shows it can cut nighttime cortisol by up to 22%, making it noticeably easier to reach and hold on to slow-wave sleep. 3. Protein spread out on purpose across the day. This is the misconception that genuinely worries me as a physician, the idea that you need less protein as you age. It's not just wrong, it might be the single most damaging piece of nutrition folklore still floating around. The truth runs the opposite direction. After 75, thanks to that same anabolic resistance, your body needs 50 to 75% more dietary protein per pound of body weight than a healthy 30-year-old just to maintain the same muscle. Most of the seniors I see are eating roughly half of what they actually need, often because appetite drops with age and carb-heavy food is just easier to make.
An American Journal of Clinical Nutrition study of over 2,700 adults aged 70 to 85 found that those eating at least 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, spread across 3 or more meals, held significantly more muscle, had 41% fewer hospitalizations from fall-related injuries, and showed a noticeably stronger immune response to things like flu and pneumonia. Think of protein as the bricks your body uses to rebuild itself overnight. Every night, old tissue gets broken down and replaced. Not enough bricks, and the rebuild comes up short. Do that for months, then years, and the shortfall compounds into something serious. The practical target, 25 to 35 grams at each of your 3 main meals, roughly 4 to 5 ounces of chicken, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, or legumes. Why spread it out? Aging muscle can only put about 35 to 40 grams of protein toward actual repair in one sitting. Anything beyond that just gets burned for energy instead. Spacing it across the day makes every gram count. James, 87, came in after his daughter noticed he dropped nearly 18 pounds, which his previous doctor had waved off as normal age-related weight loss. It wasn't normal. He was losing muscle, not fat, and his grip strength